While we're not politicizing this, Mexico sent a group of first responders to help look for flood victims in Kerr County. And by the way, this hasn't been reported in a single right-wing news source, but that's not political, right? Here are some more non-political facts. The area where this happened had no flood warning sirens despite years of discussions. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick told Fox News that there should have been sirens. Back in 1987, a flash flood swept away a bus full of campers, ultimately taking 10. In 2016, Sheriff Rusty Heyerholzer, who had been involved in the search and rescue efforts, recommended upgrading the county's flood warning system. Officials feared the flood risk to youth camps, but rejected this. Kerr County Judge Rob Kelly, its most senior elected official, blamed taxpayers for not wanting to pay for it, and when asked if they might reconsider now, he didn't seem to have much faith. Former Commissioner Moser said, well, it was about priorities. They were trying not to raise taxes. Another commissioner at the time even voted against an early study because he thought the whole thing was a little extravagant for Kerr County, with sirens and such. None of this should be surprising. Texas has a growing backlog of flood management projects totaling some $54 billion. It's not a priority. And despite the Texas Water Development Board pushing lawmakers to invest in life-saving infrastructure, they've only allocated around $669 million so far, while also approving a $51 billion cut to property taxes just this year. Hey, that could almost cover the entire $54 billion backlog. According to the Houston Chronicle, all they needed was around $1 million, which they asked state officials for at least 3 separate times. By the way, Fox News is focusing on how dangerous it is when parents decide to send their kids away for the summer. Not a word on the Mexican firefighters. Camp Mystic was pretty dangerous because it was built in extremely hazardous flood zones, including partially in a designated floodway, the channel where water flows most forcefully during a flood, posing the greatest danger to anything in its path. And of course, it was built in such a dangerous place because there were no regulations to stop it from doing so. It was only in 2020 that the county issued a couple of orders to tighten its regulations on building in high flood risk areas, but these pretty much only focused on new buildings. It doesn't appear that Camp Mystic was doing anything technically legally wrong, with the Texas inspector even approving its disaster plan 2 days ahead of the flood. So it complied with whatever existing state regulations there are for disaster plans. But of course, this isn't political. Regulations, infrastructure, taxes, budgets, none of that is political. Nor, of course, are things like funding for weather service offices, nor FEMA. You know what the one thing that is definitely political, though? The fact that these guys weren't born in America. Except, of course, not right this second when we need them. Right? No one deserves what happened. No one deserves to be failed the way the people of Kerr County appear to have been failed. What people do deserve, and sadly do not give nor get enough of in this country, is what those Mexican first responders are offering right now. Kindness, sacrifice for one another, good deeds, because that's what we should all be trying to do for each other every day.